Before the world knew its name, this land held stories whispered on the wind. It was a vast, unforgiving expanse of sand and sun, home to nomads and merchants who charted their course by the stars. For millennia, this was Arabia, a crossroads of ancient trade, a place where caravans journeyed from one horizon to the next, carrying spices, incense, and dreams. The Silk Road was not the only artery of commerce. Here, across these endless dunes, another vital network pulsed with life, connecting empires and cultures. This was a world defined not by borders, but by the rhythm of survival and the unwavering faith of its people. Life was a testament to resilience. The Bedouin tribes, the true children of the desert, understood its harsh secrets. By day, the sun was a relentless master. By night, the stars were a comforting blanket. Their homes were woven from goat hair, their wealth counted in camels, and their society built on hospitality and honor. Around crackling campfires, elders passed down poetry and oral histories, tales of courage, love, and survival against the odds. Life was simple yet profound. A delicate dance with nature where every drop of water was precious and every sunrise was a promise of a new day, a new challenge, a new blessing. Then, in the 1930s, a new kind of explorer arrived. Not merchants seeking spices, but geologists from a world away, armed with strange instruments and an unyielding belief. They came from America, their eyes scanning the horizon for something hidden deep beneath the sand. For years, they searched, drilling one dry hole after another. Doubts crept in, resources dwindled, and many thought the quest was futile. But they persisted, driven by a hunch, a scientific theory, a glimmer of hope. On March 3, 1938, at a site named Dammam No. 7, their perseverance was rewarded. The ground trembled, and a deafening roar shattered the desert silence. It wasn't water that erupted from the earth. It was a torrent of thick, black liquid shooting high into the sky. They had found it. Black gold. In that single dramatic moment, the destiny of a nation, and indeed the world, was forever altered. History itself had been struck. The discovery was a spark that ignited an unprecedented revolution. What followed was a spectacle of human ingenuity and relentless ambition. A barren landscape, once traversable only by camel, began to transform at a breathtaking pace. Time-lapse montages of this era would show pipelines, the new arteries of this kingdom, stretching like metallic serpents across hundreds of miles of unforgiving desert, connecting the wells to the sea. Where there were once only tracks in the sand, ribbons of concrete and asphalt appeared, creating roads that would bind the nation together. New cities, born from dust and dreams, rose from the ground. Dhahran, the nerve center of this new industry, Jeddah, the ancient port now bustling with global trade, and Riyadh, the heart of the kingdom, began its journey to becoming a modern metropolis. The scale of construction was colossal, a testament to the power that now flowed from beneath the sand. Behind this monumental shift was a name synonymous with oil itself: Rockefeller. John D. Rockefeller's Standard Oil, the American behemoth that had dominated the global energy landscape, had been broken up, but its legacy endured. The powerful successor companies like Standard Oil of California, which would later become Chevron, saw the immense potential in Arabia. The Rockefeller empire, built on the oil fields of Pennsylvania and Texas, was now extending its reach across the oceans, into the very heart of the Arabian Peninsula. It was a strategic masterstroke, a fusion of American capital and technology with Arabian resources. This partnership wasn't just about business. It was about shaping the future, creating a new world order fueled by this subterranean treasure. The vast fortunes and global influence forged in America were now being reinvested to unlock a power that would dwarf anything seen before. This alliance gave birth to a new entity, a company that would become a legend: the Arabian American Oil Company, or Aramco. It was more than just a corporation. It was a bridge between two vastly different cultures. Images from this time capture this unique spirit of collaboration. You see American and Saudi engineers side by side, their hands covered in the same oil, shaking hands in mutual respect and shared purpose. The flags of the United States and the nascent Kingdom of Saudi Arabia flew together over the bustling oil wells, symbols of a partnership that would power the 20th century. Soon, the fruits of this labor began to flow to the rest of the world. Massive tankers, the first of their kind, slipped out of the newly constructed ports on the Persian Gulf, their holds filled with the energy that would fuel post-war reconstruction, power industries, and put cars in every driveway from London to Los Angeles. As the sun sets today, it casts a golden glow not just on the dunes, but on the sprawling oil fields that shimmer to the horizon. And as darkness falls, a new constellation appears, not in the sky, but on the earth. The glittering lights of modern cities, vibrant and alive, sparkle across the desert, a testament to a journey almost too incredible to believe. A journey that started with nomads following the stars and led to a kingdom built on sand and oil. The black gold that erupted from Dammam No. 7 didn't just change a nation. It fueled the modern world we live in today. Scene opens with grainy black and white footage of World War II planes and tanks. The sounds of distant battles echo. The image slowly crossfades into a sleek modern satellite view of the Arabian Peninsula, highlighting Saudi Arabia. As the world plunged into the chaos of its Second Great War, a different kind of history was being written, not in the trenches of Europe, but in the vast, sun-scorched sands of Arabia. While nations clashed for territory and ideology, a new, quieter alliance was being forged. An alliance built on a promise, a handshake, and the black gold bubbling beneath the desert. It was a simple, yet world-altering transaction. Oil for security, resources for power, a partnership for mutual survival that would reshape the destinies of two nations and, ultimately, the entire globe. Cut to archival footage of an airfield being constructed in the desert. American military personnel work alongside local laborers. A B-29 bomber lands and refuels. The year is 1945. The war in the Pacific rages on. The United States needs a strategic stopover, a crucial stepping stone for its long-range bombers on their way to Japan. They look to a remote coastal town in Saudi Arabia, Dhahran. In a move that would echo through the decades, a deal was struck. An American airbase would rise from the sand, a fortress of strategy in the heart of the desert. But this wasn't just about military logistics. It was the first concrete step in a relationship that had been simmering for years. Show rare, sepia-toned photos of American generals in uniform meeting with Saudi royals in traditional attire, perhaps in a desert tent or a modest palace. Imagine these secret meetings, far from the prying eyes of the world. On one side, American military strategists, thinking in terms of supply lines and aerial dominance. On the other, the visionary King Abdulaziz ibn Saud, safeguarding his young kingdom, understanding that the true power lay not in armies, but in the immense reserves of oil his land held. The Dhahran Air Base was more than just a runway. It was a symbol of American commitment, a shield for the House of Saud. In return, American oil companies gained unprecedented access. The desert, once seen as a barren wasteland, was becoming a treasure chest, and America held the key. This single airbase laid the foundation for a military and economic dependency that would define the next century. Transition to shots of Rockefeller Center in New York City, the bustling floor of the New York Stock Exchange, and sleek 1950s boardrooms. Use motion graphics to show a corporate tree branching from Standard Oil. Meanwhile, halfway across the world, an old empire was expanding its reach in a new form. The legacy of John D. Rockefeller, the man who built the Standard Oil monopoly, was far from over. Though his trust had been broken up, its descendants, powerful companies like Exxon, Mobil, and Chevron, were the new titans of global energy. These weren't just corporations, they were financial empires, with boardrooms in New York making decisions that would ripple across continents. And their gaze was fixed firmly on the Middle East. An animated graphic visualizes the connections. Arrows link the Standard Oil successor companies to a new entity, Aramco, the Arabian-American oil company. Show close-ups of contracts being signed by men in sharp suits. Through Aramco, these American giants secured the largest oil concession in history. It was a masterstroke of corporate strategy, a continuation of Rockefeller's vision on a global scale. They brought the technology, the engineers, the capital. They drilled the wells, built the pipelines, and managed the logistics. For decades, the immense wealth of Saudi Arabia's oil flowed primarily westward, fueling the post-war boom in America and Europe. The profits that built skyscrapers in Manhattan and Houston were pumped directly from the Arabian sands. It was a complex web of power, where corporate interests and national security became inextricably linked, all tracing back to the legacy of one man's oil dynasty. The pace quickens. A dynamic time-lapse shows the explosive growth of Saudi cities. We see simple mud brick buildings morph into a glittering skyline in Riyadh. Desert landscapes are transformed by sprawling refineries and industrial complexes. And then, the boom. What happened next was nothing short of miraculous. The 1970s oil crisis sent shockwaves through the global economy, but for Saudi Arabia, it was a turning point. As oil prices skyrocketed, the kingdom found itself in control of an unimaginable torrent of wealth. The money flowed in so fast it was hard to spend. We're talking about a nation whose wealth went from modest to monumental in less than a decade. By the mid-70s, Saudi Arabia's foreign assets were estimated at over $1 trillion in today's money. Quick cuts showing the fruits of this wealth. Highways being paved across the desert, universities and hospitals rising from the ground, luxury cars on the streets of Jeddah, and the intricate network of pipelines and refineries glowing like a circuit board at night. The once barren desert was utterly transformed. A kingdom of nomads was becoming a modern nation-state at a dizzying speed. Every corner of society was touched by this newfound prosperity. The scale of development was staggering. They weren't just building a country, they were building a new reality, a hyper-modern oasis funded entirely by the world's insatiable thirst for oil. The power dynamic had shifted. The kingdom was no longer just a client, it was a kingmaker. Shift to scenes of tense OPEC meetings in Vienna. Show archival clips of American presidents giving speeches about the energy crisis and massive oil tankers navigating the Suez Canal and Strait of Hormuz. With immense wealth came immense influence. The world woke up to a new reality. The flow of oil was the flow of power. The organization known as OPEC, with Saudi Arabia as its undeniable leader, could turn the taps and send Western economies into a tailspin. Suddenly, the decisions made in Riyadh were felt in gas station lines in Ohio and factory floors in Germany. Oil was no longer just a commodity. It was a political weapon, a tool of leverage on the global stage. Show footage of American diplomats and secretaries of state frequently visiting Saudi Arabia, shaking hands with Saudi leadership. The visual narrative emphasizes a relationship of equals, if not one where the Saudis now hold a stronger hand. American foreign policy became intricately tied to the stability of the Saudi kingdom and the steady supply of its oil. The relationship that began with a simple airbase had evolved into a complex geopolitical dance. The security guarantee America offered was now, more than ever, a strategy to protect its own economic lifeblood. The kingdom, in turn, used its oil wealth to project power, funding allies, influencing politics, and securing its place as an indispensable player in the global order. The world now ran on Saudi oil, and everyone knew it. The tone becomes more contemporary and reflective. Show vibrant, modern scenes, young Saudi entrepreneurs in a tech startup, a woman confidently driving a car through Riyadh, and stunning architectural renderings and drone shots of the futuristic city of Enayam. Today, the story enters a new chapter. The kingdom built on oil is now trying to build a future beyond it. The echoes of that 1940s alliance still resonate, but the landscape is changing. A new generation of Saudis, educated, ambitious, and globally connected, are driving this transformation. They are coders, artists, and business leaders dreaming of a diversified economy powered by technology and tourism, not just hydrocarbons. The sight of women behind the wheel, once unthinkable, is now a powerful symbol of this social and economic shift. The final shots linger on the ambitious vision of Neom, a city rising from the desert, powered by renewable energy, a testament to a nation trying to reinvent itself. This is a kingdom grappling with its own legacy, using the immense wealth that oil provided to fund its own escape from oil dependency. It's a bold, multi-trillion-dollar gamble. The journey from a strategic Wtusi airbase to a futuristic megacity encapsulates the incredible arc of the last 80 years. It's a story of how a single resource reshaped a nation and the world around it. Fade to black. Slow, pensive, orchestral music swells. A single line of text appears on the screen. From Rockefeller's vision to Saudi Arabia's empire, the wealth that reshaped the modern world. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through history. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the forces that shape our world. See you next time.